Sometimes watching people in films makes me angry. Because there's a lot of talented actors out there. And not just me, you know? There are other talented actors as well. I know it's hard to believe, but there are. And what really irritates me is when I'm watching a good film with a bad actor in it. I have a thing about watching horror films. You guys like horror films? I love horror films. And I was watching a horror film recently called The Deep House. All right. Now, it's on Netflix. It's not worth your time if you haven't watched it. The Deep House is acted in by James Jagger, Mick Jagger's son. So, clearly a very wealthy, very well-connected individual. Someone with access to the best of training. Oh, we don't have enough room for the priest count, so I'm going to drop the cooked meat and the pigeon cages. Someone with access to a great deal of training. Someone with access, I haven't said he's taken it, but he's got access to it. To money, to schools, to time, to skills. And James Jagger was in the film The Deep House, and I watched it. Sometimes an actor will make me angry because they're in a film that's really trying, and clearly there's skill there with the director. Clearly there's skill there with the script writer, with the supporting cast. There's so much skill. And then there was James Jagger. Now, people are saying, Josh, are you saying that you could outact James Jagger? Yes, that's what I'm saying. And James, if you're watching, first of all, thanks. I knew you'd be a fan of the channel. If you want to do a film together, I say we do a film together. I think that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. We should do that. That's one thing we should definitely make happen. Let me put my priest robe on. That was in reference to the game, not in reference to us making a film together. Yeah. But no, I love horror films, and I watch a lot of them, and some of them are really good, like really good, and some of them are just bad. I feel that as a film critic, I should have, like, given you more information than I just gave you. That's probably not the most analytical take I've ever given. So Josh, what's your opinion on films? Some of them are good, and some of them are bad. Thanks, Josh. Clearly, all your training is paying off. That's exactly what we needed. That's the insight that we come to this stream for. That's what you guys want. As a fellow connoisseur of horror movies, the bad ones are the best. I just finished watching a film called A Cure for Wellness. And that, again, everyone apart from the lead actor in that film, phenomenally well acted. Beautifully well shot, really good. A Cure for Wellness, genuinely interesting film until the last 20 minutes, and really good acting from everyone apart from the lead dude. What is my favourite and least favourite film? I'd say that... So, just bear with me on this one and see if you can pick up what I'm putting down. So you can feel where I'm coming from with this one, okay? The more you're exposed to various forms of media, let's say horror films, action films, comedy films, video games, the more you get used to them, the weirder they have to become to appeal to you. So if you've seen one horror film ever, oh my god, it's amazing. You don't know what the tropes are. You don't know what the expectations are. You can't have your expectations subverted because you have no expectations. And the more you consume of one type of media, the more bland it becomes to you when you've experienced too much of it. You need to almost chase that weird high of a film that does something you're not expecting. That's pretty much what it is. It's almost like with anime. And the same with MMOs. Once you're used to what it does, you need weirder stuff and stranger stuff and new things and unique takes. So when I was young, my favorite films were action films because I'd not seen many action films, and therefore they were incredible to watch and did something totally new and unique. And as I've now experienced a lot of films, I have now found a deep, powerful respect for films that do something weird or super different or beyond the norm, which is why sometimes after I finish watching a film, I'll sit there and go, yeah, that was good, get up and go and do something else. I know that a film is good or has changed me as a person when, after it finishes, I think, I feel different. My life is now divided into the time before I saw this and the time after I saw this. That's what it is. And the last film to do that to me, I sat there and just stared at the credits, was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once is an absolute masterpiece of cinema. It's incredible. If you were to show someone that as their first film, it would make no sense whatsoever. You need to watch that with an already, pretty established knowledge of what film is, what it should be, what it could do, the emotions and the relationships that it's exploring, because you very much need to understand, right, this is what it's parodying. This is what it's taking the piss out of. This is what it's using. There's a cat, by the way. Everything Everywhere All at Once was phenomenal. There have been a couple of films throughout my life that I've watched and thought that is an incredible piece of cinema. So, Fight Club did it to me when I was a kid. I watched Fight Club, and I know now as an adult that there are expectations and it's derivative in places, but I thought Fight Club for the time was a really good film. The Matrix was another excellent film that really it changed how I saw cinema. I still think Children of Men, and people in the chat are putting some really good suggestions. Blade Runner, both the original and the sequel, phenomenally good bits. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are, comedy moments in time when you think, right, the world is now divided into comedy before Shaun of the Dead and comedy after Shaun of the Dead. Requiem for a Dream, that kind of stuff. Almost genre-defining films. Terminator 1 and 2. These were those moments when you watch a film and you think, right, this is more than a film. This is a moment of cultural significance. And I know that I am sounding like an absolutely pretentious drama teacher, a pretentious actor, but this actually links back to The Rock from earlier, as in not the film The Rock by Michael Bay, which is an incredibly good action film with one of the best villains, Ed Harris, that I've ever seen, but the actor, The Rock. Try this. Go to Google, type in The Rock or The Rock films, and you'll get a list of films on the top of everything that The Rock's been in recently. Go and have a look at the IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes score for all of them, because you'll find a weird trend. All of them are between 5 out of 10 and 7 out of 10. Like, firmly in the middle. Not great, not groundbreaking, nothing incredible, but nothing bad. It's like a firmly watchable film. And what you very quickly realize is that The Rock's skill is not in making genre-defining cinema. Wait, what's he talking about? Just hopped in. We're talking about The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson. The Rock's skill, both as a producer, as an actor, as a director, as a media mogul, is in producing safe films. That's what he does. He's safe. He's very safe. You put The Rock in a film, it's going to make money. Apart from Black Adam. It's safe. He is a very, very safe creator, and Hollywood like this. He loves the idea of making safe films. Yes, we'll get you some food in a minute. He's very, very safe. To me, safe films have very little artistic value, very little artistic merit. I mean, I don't think that it's worth anyone's time to watch Skyscraper or the remade Welcome to the Jungle or the remade Jumanji. I just don't think it's worth anyone's time. They're filler movies. They fill in. Darcy, I'm going to follow you. Could we please go to Elena and inform her that the plague is a hoax? Can we just teleport to Ardoon now? I think we can. They are filler movies. I mean, Moana was an exception. That's, again, a really good film. But filler movies, that's the problem. Elena is far. Okay, could somebody teleport me to Ardoon? I need to be teleported to Ardy-Duggle-de-da-da-da-da. What do I think of Jack Black? I think of... You know what? Jack Black is interesting to me as a human being, because I saw a tweet about this and I completely agree with it. Jack Black is the only human being that I could see in literally any context and it would make total sense. Yeah, we'll go to Camelot, that's fine. Like, imagine you go on holiday, You go to somewhere far off and exotic. You're walking around. You peek around a corner. You're on a high street. There's a load of little cafes. And in the back, you see Jack Black dressed up as a giant teddy bear frying up some pancakes. And you straight away just think, yeah, I get it. No, he's obviously on his frying pancakes as a giant teddy bear phase. That's a very Jack Black thing to do. And then you go home, you walk down, and suddenly he's directing traffic, dressed up as a giant lollipop man. Yeah, that would again make sense. He's there. He is the one human being that you can put into any context. And your immediate response is, that makes sense. And that, I think, is he's with Snoop Dogg in that kind of category. Snoop Dogg and Jack Black are two people who have finished the main quest of life and are now just doing side quests. And it makes total sense. They are firmly on their side quest arc, and it makes absolute sense. Yeah, they're interesting. They are people who have finished the main quest of life and are just doing side quests. That's how they work. Thoughts on Keanu Reeves as an actor? All positive, all very good. Haven't met the guy. I've heard good things. I think he's an excellent actor. I think he understands that Keanu's emotional range has increased as of late. Unfortunately, his emotional films from when he was younger are mostly things like The Devil's Advocate, which I think he was... The problem with Keanu acting in The Devil's Advocate was he was acting alongside, was it Al Pacino, who is just phenomenally good at what he does. And anyone acting alongside Al Pacino just chewing the scenery is going to have a hard time. But I think Keanu has improved recently, and it would be nice to see him in a much, much more serious role. And Terry has not only tipped, thank you for that, but also put some really good, interesting films in Dead Poet Society and Good Will Hunting. Best horror films are The Alien. Yeah, I agree. Alien was an excellent horror film. And The Thing. Jurassic Park was meant to be a horror thriller. It is a horror thriller. Yeah. Alien is one of the best horror films because you don't see the alien until the very, very end. And that's what makes it so bloody good. Any Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is one of the few actors who is not safe because he acts. And The Rock, God bless him, does not act. He plays The Rock in every film. Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't need to act. He simply plays Arnold Schwarzenegger in every film. When you put an actor in a film, if you're putting a safe actor in a film, you actually don't want them to act. You want them to play a very specific character. Yeah, Jack Black, again, plays as Jack Black. He is a safe actor. You put him in there, he plays that. That's a really good way, Sleepy. He performs, he doesn't act. So what kind of actor do you think acts? Now, to me, Gary Oldman is one of the perfect examples of it. I also think Tom Hardy is an actor who acts in every film. It's when you see an actor who acts, you don't know who they are. They are just the character the film needs them to be. When you see a movie star, you see them all the time. That's who they are. They sell. Yeah, they sell the film based on them. I mean, I went to go and see the D&D film, and I'm still a big fan of the D&D film. I had a good time watching it. I think that Chris Pine in the D&D film plays a really, really good Edgin. I think he's fun in that film, and he's not playing up to himself. He is playing Edgin the Bard. I like that a lot. Sam Rockwell, again, Viggo Mortensen. These are good, skilled, talented actors who play the character, but not themselves. I would really like it sometimes if they just cast completely random, unknown actors in a really good film, and it turns out to be. I mean, they pretty much did that mostly with Game of Thrones. They took actors who weren't, brand new, but hadn't been in a great deal of stuff. And then they put Sean Bean in there, and every actor in Game of Thrones just nailed it. Really good. What about Nicolas Cage? You put Nicolas Cage in a film when you want a little bit of crazy, You want a little bit of random, a little bit of mental. You stick it in there. Christopher Waltz. Christopher Waltz, wasn't he in both Django and is it Inglourious Basterds? He was, yeah. Yeah, Christopher Waltz was creepy as hell. Creepy as hell to watch. He is such a good actor. And he nailed both. He did. Christian Bale, again, completely transforms himself. So when someone said to me earlier, this whole rant pretty much stemmed from someone saying, what's your favourite film? Or, what films do you value? I value film as an artistic medium when you are taking skilled writers, directors, editors, actors, sound designers, and you sat down together and went, right, what can we make the audience feel? And can we make something so powerful and so moving that the audience's life will be divided into a time before they saw this film and a time after they have seen this film? Can we make something that important? And when that happened, I mean, what do you guys think? What are we thinking about Daniel Day-Lewis and Walking Phoenix? Again, phenomenally good actors. Proof that you don't need to be a super mega star, selling out films on your name alone and acting as the same character every time, like The Rock does, to be a respected good actor. I mean, Will Smith, unfortunately, does play the same character a lot. And then you put him in a film where he has to act. We've finished Biohazard, by the way, guys. You put him in a film where he has to act, and suddenly it's actually... he can act. The man can act. I just don't think he gets given a huge amount of chance to do that. Thieving is level 20. Fantastic. We completed Biohazard. Jar Alba says, before Flushed Away and after Flushed Away. Do you think in 20 to 30 years people will recognize any of The Rock's movies? No. I think people don't recognize them now. That's the problem. That's the real problem. People do not recognize them now. Val, I was actually thinking about The Pursuit of Happiness as an example for a really good film. Like a really good film. I don't want to feel what somebody felt like in it, but I want to feel see. Yeah, that's interesting. See, Dud, when you say you don't like movies like that, you don't want to feel what somebody felt like, for example, in a war, but you want to see a war movie. That's a really interesting division, because to me, watching a war movie would be about experiencing, or at least trying to empathize with, the horrific conditions of war felt through the actor portraying that kind of stuff. But again, I suppose if you really want that, what's the difference in a documentary and a movie? Saving Private Ryan, again, very, very heavy war film. Oh my goodness, you look like you grew up in the year 1671. Okay, that's entirely incorrect. I grew up in 1761. You've switched two of those numbers around. Requiem for a Dream was a good one. Full Metal Jacket, again, great war film about the horrors of war. Are there any war films that you can experience emotionlessly? That's the correct one. Can you experience an emotionless war film? And if you do, is that a good film? Because to me, one of the funniest anti-war films, because people don't realize it's anti-war, is Starship Troopers. Again, I think Starship Troopers, excellent film. Really, really well-made film. Blackadder Goes Forth, the final episode of Blackadder Goes Forth, horrible. As in, there's an emotionless pit that just forms in your stomach when he says, "I'm scared, sir." And that's just a beautiful moment. The Last Samurai. And is The Last Samurai a war film? I suppose in a way it is, because you try and understand and feel and empathize when they charge toward the Gatling guns at the end. Starship Troopers was anti-fascist. Yeah, it's a complex. Why are there 2,000 cups of tea? Fine, 2,000 cups of tea. We're going to bank them. We will bank them next time. All Quiet on the Western Front. These are the things we need to look at.